Hey guys, this class is designed to work muscles that oftentimes get forgotten, your wrists. They're not the sexy muscles, but we use them constantly in yoga. So this class is designed to set you up for success in your yoga journey because we use these so often. So as you're going through it, just pay attention to what's happening in your wrists. You might find soreness, you might find weakness, but I've given you modifications to help you along your way. So I look forward to seeing you on the mat. Hey guys, I'm really excited to teach you this class because we're going to be covering one of the poses that gets used constantly throughout yoga, but it also isn't ergonomically taught, or the anatomy of it isn't taught to you so that you don't get injured through it. And because it's used so much, you have a really high tendency of getting injured. So we're going to start by warming up our wrists. So literally like you're flicking water off your hands, just flick your wrists. Try to make it as big and as expansive as possible. So not just like, be really intentional with your movements and flick the water off your wrists or your hands. And you can start to feel your wrists warming up. And our wrists oftentimes get avoided because they're small and they're not the big, pretty, fancy muscles, but they're the smaller muscles. They're the little intricate muscles that often get avoided because they're not fancy. Now take your hands and interlace your fingers together and then just make figure eight with your hands. This is going to be warming up your wrists, but also stretching them as well. Big circles, just notice what you feel. Be very intentional about that figure eight, big movements. Okay, really quick. We'll come to all fours, hands and knees, grip your fingers into the earth, and then lean back and forth. Forward and back. So shift your heart forward and shift it back. Notice the back side of your wrists right here. This is technically the front, but when we're facing this way, they're facing the back wall. So the back side of your wrists when we're doing this, notice the muscles firing up here. So these muscles have to be really strong to support your wrist. Because what's going to happen is when these are weak, we compensate like this by turning our elbows out. And what that does is it starts to put strain on the shoulder and eventually strain on the neck. So turn your elbows straight back, and this is how we start to strengthen these muscles. Leaning back and forth. Now the main action today is we're going to be using our wrists. So you can take your blocks and place them right behind your forearms. What we want to do is come back like this, and that again puts strain on our fingers, that's thumbs, elbows, everything starts to get injured. Instead, you lean your heart forward and then begin to bend your elbows. So just try that. Lean your heart forward and then try to bend your elbows. So you're still gripping your fingers into the ground, but now we're adding in the action at the elbow joint. So your wrists should be feeling this, starting to warm up. Just a few more at your own pace, and notice the back of your wrists. Okay, you can come up, set your blocks aside. Keep them handy though, because if you need them for halfway lifts, you can use them. Okay, now we're gonna come back child's pose. And let's just connect with our breath really quick. Remember, Ujjayi breath is like you're trying to fog a mirror, but with your mouth closed. So you inhale through the nose, and then on your exhale, you try to fog the mirror. So take a few breaths like that and notice what it feels like throughout your spine. Coming to all fours on your inhale. Arch the back and look up. Exhale, round your spine. Tuck your tailbone. Inhale, arch the back, look up. Exhale, round. Arch the back and look up. Exhale, round. Arch the back and look up. And tuck your toes, lead with your tailbone, press back to downward facing dog. This is your first downward facing dog of the day, normally. Then pedal out your feet. Sway your hips side to side. Just listen to where your body is right now. And then find stillness. So now you know what your body feels like while it's moving. Can you find stillness and see what information you can get? Let's inhale, roll forward to plank. Exhale and hold here. One good inhale. Knees down, press back to child's pose. All fours, hands and knees on your inhale. Arch the back, look up. Tuck the toes, press back, downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward to plank. Exhale, knees down, child's pose. Plank, or all fours on your inhale. Downward facing dog. One more, roll forward to plank. Knees down, child's pose. All fours, hands and knees. Arch the back, look up. Press back, downward facing dog. Let's take our right leg back and up. And step your right leg forward. Come up onto your fingertips. And the reason that you stay on your fingertips, so one, you're not hurting your wrists, but two, we are giving our legs the opportunity to be strong. So press your front heel into the earth, press your back foot into the earth, and then pull your feet together. Notice how your hips lift up. So you have strength in your legs, and then your fingers will gradually get lighter and lighter. Now, if this isn't accessible to you, you can always put your blocks under your hand and bring the ground up to you. Eventually, you want to come to where you're strengthening your hands by using your fingertips. So keep pressing your feet into the earth, pulling them towards each other. On the next exhale, step the right foot back, lower all the way down. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, release down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Maybe lift the feet up. And release down. All fours on your inhale. And press back to downward facing dog. Left leg to the sky, inhale. And step it forward. Come up onto your fingertips. Use your fingers, breathe here. Press your front heel into the earth. Press your back foot into the earth, and then pull your legs together. When you come to a yoga class, a lot of the times people will get overwhelmed with the amount of new information that they're getting. And when your brain gets overwhelmed, it makes you scared to come back for more. Unless you're like super trooper and you're like, no, I'm gonna do it. But when you can lower the amount of information that your brain is getting, it can process it better. So instead of overwhelming you information, we'll teach you just the tiny little details of how to do the most common poses so that you can really stick with it and not be afraid to come back for more. So on your next exhale, step your left foot back, lower all the way down. Take your fingertips out wide, round the spine. Exhale, squeeze your shoulder blades together and soften your heart. Pull your heart forward release down. We'll do that two more times. Inhale, round through the back of the heart. Exhale, squeeze your shoulder blades together and down your back. And then pull your heart forward. Release down. Inhale, round. Exhale, soften. Pull your heart forward. Release down. All fours, hands and knees. Press back, downward facing dog. Let's take a nice breath here together. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. On the next inhale, lift the heels, look forward, and walk to the top of the mat. Halfway lift on your inhale. You can use your blocks here. Exhale, bow and fold forward. Bend your knees and allow your torso to rest. And take your fingers, and interlace them at your lower back. Let your head hang, and then bring your shoulders towards your ears. Then squeeze your shoulder blades together, and move them down your back. Then straighten your arms to the degree that your body will let you. Okay? Keep the back of your head and the back of your neck long. And just breathe here. A lot of the times when you're starting something new, you can feel like Alice in Wonderland when she's like wandering through with the little dusters that remove the sidewalk. That's what I always think about. And you don't know where to go, you don't know what to do. And that's what causes you to feel overwhelmed. And oftentimes, that's what causes you to quit. So learn one thing instead of trying to get it all that first time. What information can you take from it, and just take that alone. Don't try to get it all. Release your hands to your hips, reach the heart forward, and rise all the way up to stand. Okay, we're gonna warm up our wrists just a little bit more. So you take your right hand out in front, pull your fingers to your nose. Okay, this is wrist extension, and this is the position that our arms are in during plank, during all chaturangas. This is all arm balances. This is where your arms have to be strong. And they even have to be strong during downward facing dog, because that is the muscle that's being activated right there. Okay, so we're gonna pull our fingers to our nose and then wrap your other hand around your fingers. And then I want you to just gently, like 10%, push your fingers into your hands. Then notice that back side of your wrists. Okay. Just beginning to warm that up, strengthen it. And again, it's being strengthened in a lengthened position, which creates intelligence within the brain and the muscular system. Go ahead and switch. And then just gently press your fingers into your hands. Okay, release. Coming to stand at the top of your mat. If you weren't already there, inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bow and fold forward. Halfway lift on your inhale. And then place your hands on the ground. Lean forward. Lean, lean, lean. Grip your fingers. And then step or hop back to plank pose. Drop your knees down. Bring your heart forward. Lower all the way to the ground. Okay. Fingertips out wide. Inhale, round the spine. Exhale, squeeze together and soften. Inhale, pull your heart forward and up. And exhale, lower down. Inhale, all fours, hands and knees. And exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Right leg to the sky on your inhale. And exhale, step forward. Find your feet, press down, rise up, high lunge. And exhale, go ahead and open up to warrior two. Pause here. Warrior two, you can really find your hips right now. So again, most of the time we twist and fold forward. I'm gonna turn and face you really quick. So your front heel is bisecting the arch of your back foot. What happens most of the time is we twist and fold forward. So we're trying to be like this. Take your hands and just press your hip back. So this is gonna protect this hip and strengthen your legs. So sit back and then lift your arms and breathe. Pull your feet towards each other. Notice how that activates your muscles in your legs. I'm gonna flip around. Let's reverse warrior. So take your front hand and come up and reach back. Come back to warrior two. Again, reach up, 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 and then back. Come back to straight. Reverse warrior one more time. Now exhale, take your hands and place them on the ground. Step back and lower knees down, then chest to the ground. We're gonna go ahead and take our fingers, interlace them at our lower back, opposite pinky on top, so it might feel a bit weird. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and down your back, and then lift your hands off your back. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift your heart. Reach your feet towards the back wall. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift your heart, reach it forward. Reach your toes back. And exhale, release down. Hands by your sides. Inhale, all fours. Press back, downward facing dog. Left leg to the sky. And step it through. Press down, rise up, high lunge. Open up, warrior two. Pause here. Pay attention to your hips. You can twist back and forth so you know the difference between when your hips are straight with the wall in front of you versus when they're twisted towards the front of the mat. So just open up like you're about to sit in a chair. And take your hands out nice and long. And breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more good inhale. And exhale. Inhale, reach forward, then up, 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 up. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale forward, then up, up, up. Exhale to warrior two. Inhale forward, reach up, 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 up. And then exhale, bring your hands to the ground. Step back to plank pose. Lower the knees down, lower all the way to the earth. Take your fingertips wide, round your spine. Exhale, squeeze your shoulder blades together and soften. Pull your heart forward and up. And release down. All fours, hands and knees. And press back to downward facing dog. Let's enjoy some breaths here together. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Thinking on one bit of information that you're gaining today. How do the muscles in the back of your hands feel, or at the back of your wrists? Can you press your fingers into the earth just like we were while we were standing? Notice how that fires up your wrist muscles. Try to keep your neck long, shoulders moving towards your ears. Inhale, lift the heels, look forward. And exhale, hop or step to the top of the mat. Halfway lift on your inhale. And exhale, bow and fold forward. Rise all the way to stand. And hands to heart center. All All right, we're going to do some wrist strengthening exercises at the wall. So first, you're standing, just come up to the wall and then step a big step away from it so that your arm is basically straight out in front. So you're not bending, you're not super far away. I want your hand flat on the earth, or flat on the wall. Then you'll spin your fingers behind you. Press your fingers into the wall. Notice how that fires up your wrist. And then just gradually, you'll take your shoulder up towards your ear and then spin it around, and your heart will just open up here. So keep pressing your fingers into the wall and opening, or you're stretching those muscles, but you're also opening your chest. Just breathing here. All right, we'll go to the other side. So again, step away from the wall to where your palm is flat on the wall. Spin your fingers facing behind you. Gently, like 10% of your effort, press your fingertips into the wall, and then shoulder up towards your ear, spin it around, and shoulder blade goes down the back. And then you'll turn as much as your chest will allow. This is a great exercise to actually do at work, because most of the time we're hunched forward on the computer, so our pattern is the opposite of what this arm is doing right now. And this will open up your chest, helps with your neck. So this is a great one overall. You can release. Now you'll come to the wall, let your arms fall, and then just bring your hands straight up to where you have this perpendicular angle right here at your arms. You don't want your elbows tucked into your body. You also don't want them winging out. So just keep them nice and close, not like squeezing in. And then you'll step your feet away just a little bit. The further away your feet are, the harder this gets because the more weight gets into your wrists. So you can stay standing straight up, or you can shift your feet away, but play with it. And then just gradually press into your fingertips, and almost like the wave, like you're trying to lift your palm up, and then you try to lift your base of your fingers up, and then come up onto your fingertips, and then slowly shift back down. I'm doing this a few times, nice and slow and controlled. Notice the back of your wrists as you're pressing your fingers. Do this a few times at your own pace. And again, play with it. Step away, move closer, see what your body can handle. Okay. The next one we'll do is you come a little closer, just for the first part of this, so that you can really find what works best for you, but you're gonna just push off the wall. So you're basically doing a fast motion of what we just did, that roll of your hand off the wall, that flick. And that flick is what's creating that strength right here. So you just lean into the wall and flick. You're not up here, you're down here. Because this is where the action for Chaturanga happens, is right here. So just go like 10 times. This is a great exercise just to practice at the gym, practice on your own time. But you can always stop this recording and you can do it multiple times. Just rocking back and forth. You should really start to feel it. And you'll start to feel it in the back of your arms as well. And rest back down. Coming back to your mats, come on to all fours and grab your blocks. You can also use water bottles if you don't have blocks. Really, you just need something that will show you if you're perpendicular and parallel. So you'd be parallel to the blocks and then perpendicular to the earth, okay? All right, so your arms are, your wrists are directly under your shoulders. If maybe even a little bit wider you can go with, but you don't want them out too far, okay? Just play with it though. You'll find what works best for you. But for now, just start with this. Just like we were doing, lean your heart forward, and then gradually begin to bend your elbows. So grip your fingers into the ground, Lean your heart forward and bend your elbows. Keep pressing your fingers into the earth. Notice the back of your wrists firing up. That is what's holding you up right now. So keep pressing in, and then lower just a little bit more and try to press into your hands more. So your fingertips, like, look down at them. They might be turning white because they're working so hard. So press, 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 and then shift back. Because what is going to happen is you're gonna want to bend your elbows and see how the block falls over, and then you have this going on instead of this going on. And so that's why we get shoulder impingements. This is why our wrists hurt, is because the muscles that are supposed to be working here when we're like this aren't in the right position. So instead, and you can shift your knees back, that'll make this more and more easy, but shift forward, 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 press into your hands, grip into your fingers, and lower, press into your hands, and see how instead of being, and it takes a little while to be able to come up and down like that and hold that, but this is the motion that you are using in Chaturanga. So you're shifting your heart forward, and then you bend your elbows. So the more I shift my heart forward, the more my elbows just naturally bend on their own. Instead of my heart being straight over, like straight like this, then I'm gonna go down. See how the block is gonna tip back? And that's gonna hurt your shoulders and hurt your wrists. So you can try that one more time. Shift your heart forward, lean, 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 and then start to bend. You're pressing your hands into the ground and lower all the way to your belly. Okay? You can move the blocks out of the way, and we're actually going to try it. You can try it by staying on your knees, or you can come up to plank with me. However way for your body, that's the best way to do it. So remember, you're just trying to create the pattern in your brain by learning one thing. All right, up into plank pose. Lean your heart forward, forward, grip your fingers into the ground, and then bend your elbows. And then you're right here where your shoulder is not gonna get hurt. Lower all the way to your belly. One other thing I wanna talk about with this, the main motion I want you to get is to protect your arms and shoulders. But something that does happen with Chaturanga is this, is our hearts, or our pelvis sags down. So keep your pubic bone pulling up towards your rib cage. So it's like this action right here. And that will keep you from sagging, because if you do it like this, you're gonna jam your lower back, and that's no good for anyone. So if you notice that you're sagging down, just come to your knees and practice that action of pulling your pubic bone towards your ribs, shift your heart forward, and then lower down. And once you have that stability and that motion, then come to your feet. Meet your body where it's at. Don't try to force it into something else, because that's where we create disconnect. So if you're constantly doing Chaturanga like this, then that's where you can create that disconnect from those muscles, and that's where you have injury. So disconnection from what's going on in your muscular system, what's going on in your brain, is ultimately what causes suffering within the body and the mind. So instead of pushing your body to the extreme past the point of where you're at, meet it where it's at, create safety for where it's at in that moment, and then challenge it a little bit there. Don't challenge it past the point where you lose form. So lean your heart forward, grip your fingers into the ground, shift, bend your elbows, keep pressing, and lower. Okay, we're gonna go through Sun A. So this is part of something that would always happen during a yoga class. So I wanna do it so you can get the feeling of the Chaturangas in your body, okay? So come to stand at the top of your mat. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bow and fold forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, step or hop back. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog or cobra, and press back. Downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Look forward, Lift the heels, walk, step, or hop to the top of the mat. Halfway lift on your inhale. And exhale, bow and fold forward. Rise all the way up to the sun, inhale. Hands to heart center. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bow and fold forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Place your hands on the ground, step or hop back, and lower all the way, Chaturanga. Cobra or upward facing dog. Press back, downward facing dog. Breath in and out. Inhale, look forward, lift the heels, walk, step, or hop to the front of the mat. Halfway lift and fold forward. Rise all the way up on your inhale. Hands to heart center, exhale. Reach the arms up, inhale. Exhale, bow and fold forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Hands to the ground, step or hop back, and lower Chaturanga. Cobra or upward facing dog. Press back, downward facing dog. Breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale the right leg to the sky. And exhale, shin to the top of the mat. Press your outer knee into the ground just to activate your hip muscles because we didn't do a whole lot with the legs. You can stay lifted here, but keep your outer knee pressing into the earth. And you can fold forward to the degree that your body will let you. Notice how your wrists feel right now. When you actually touch those body parts, your brain gets lit up with a bunch of information as well. Walk yourself back up. Coming back to downward facing dog. Left leg to the sky. Step it through, shin to the top of the mat. Press your outer knee into the earth and bow to the degree that your body will let you. And walk yourself back up. Just take your left knee and spin it back to all fours. Flip your palms and face your hands towards your knees, your fingers towards your knees, and then just very gently keep your fingers pressing into the earth and then shift your weight backwards. I want you to keep your fingers pressing into the earth just to keep the integrity of those muscles because this is a big stretch for them. But we've already been strengthening them while we're lengthening them, but I don't want to confuse the system. Gently come back forward. And then meet me on your back. Rolling all the way down. Real quick breathing. Breathe in through the nose. Open the mouth, let it out. In through the nose. Open the mouth, let it out. One more. Open the mouth. Now take your hands to the notch below your neck or your throat. And just like we did the other day, breathe in under your hands. Remember, if you felt movement, breath, energy best, go to that place. Just check in with all three of those spaces that we did, so the solar plexus area where the ribs meet, and then right below the belly button for now. And of those three places, there's going to be a spot that you felt most disconnected from, that it was like you couldn't get your breath there, you couldn't get your focus there, it was hard. So that's not good, bad, right, wrong. There was just a place that was more challenging for you to access. And then there was also a place that it was easier for you to access, that you felt like, oh yeah, I can find this place pretty easy. I feel connected there. I can feel the movement, I can feel the breath, whatever. But if you didn't find that, then go back and be more detailed, because one of the things that people will tell me is, I didn't feel any different. The thing is that you didn't try hard enough to feel the difference. So you can always pause, go in and try again, because there's gonna be a place where it felt just a little bit different than the others. And I want you to get that detailed, because what that does is it lights up your brain in all of these areas. Because when your hands are on your body, when your focus is on your body, that's your brain getting a lot of different information and a lot of different signals. But I want you to know what it feels like to feel disconnected. And I want you to know what it feels like to feel connected. That's the whole purpose of this point, or this part right now. Okay, so then when you've found it, start with the area where you felt most connected. Does not have to be mine, but just say, for instance, mine was my solar plexus, and my area that it was hardest for me to breathe into was right below my belly. So what I'll do is I'll go back and forth, one breath round in each place. And you're breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And you just shift back and forth. And you're shifting back and forth because you're going to a place where your brain feels safe, and then you're going to connect to an area where it doesn't really have a lot of information from. So we're switching from safety to disconnect. And what that does is it allows your brain to access those areas without getting overwhelmed. So just keep moving back and forth at your pace, almost like you're pulling the connection to the area of disconnection, back and forth. And eventually they will start to have the same rhythm. So I wanted you to feel the rhythm of disconnect and the rhythm of connect, because disconnection has a certain rhythm. I'm gonna sit up now while you guys are doing that. Being disconnected has a certain rhythm. So in the beginning, I told you I will tell you what it sounds like, what it feels like, and basically the words that you're gonna use when you're in this first stage of healing of suffering. What happens when we are in a state of disconnect is it has a certain feeling in your body. You will feel this separateness, this disconnected. I feel helpless, I feel hopeless, nothing is working. Those are the words that you use when you're in this stage. And I'm saying this so that when you're in it, you can catch it. I'm not saying that I want you to judge, oh, I'm in suffering right now, because we forget that suffering has a beauty to it as well. It's what up-levels us. Remember, the diamond is coal first, and it takes the pressure, the hard stuff, whatever the earth does to make it a diamond. It's not an easy process. It takes a long time. The same thing happens to us. Suffering is a part of the human condition. And instead of trying to avoid it, can you find the rhythm of it so that you're aware of when you're in it versus trying to avoid it? And that is what creates the ability for you to move through it versus stay stuck in it and it get louder and louder and louder. So remain here. This can be considered your Shavasana, or whenever they connect and they're the same, then you can rest and find your way into Shavasana.